Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Hey there, guys. Happy Sunday. This one's not going to be long because this is very short what I put together. Now, the original footage for this is from Gray Hughes. Most of you guys have probably already seen this circulating. I did what I had to do in order to do this review with you guys per YouTube policies. So there's a few little bitty bits in the beginning and a few little bitty bits in the end of all of these segments that have been removed. There's a slight filter over them and they have been zoomed in bigger because I have to make it my own in order to use it. And again, his channel's got the full thing. Y'all know where to find him for the majority. If not, type his name in and there you go. This is nothing really case related. There is one thing that I'm going to point out that I find interesting, but it's just because it's something that we've seen all over the place. So it's interesting to point out. But this is an important clip to watch because this is just the girls being girls. This is just the girls at the club, hanging out, leaving to go somewhere else, getting hungry, stopping to get food, changing their minds about wanting to go somewhere, going home, and getting into a car. These are two girls just enjoying life. And it's important to remember that. So we're going to watch this. And we're going to watch how Maddie happily is just walking. And she's just in the moment. And they just look like they're just having a normal old time. And it's just sad. It's just real sad what happens right after this. So we're going to watch this. And again, it's not long. What I have to show you guys that I put together is only 3 minutes and 37 seconds. But we're going to watch it together because it does show a comprehensive type timeline. And I don't understand how the cops from the very beginning even could come out and say that the girls got home at 1:45, giving that that's the exact same time that Kaylee is messaging Eric about needing a ride. Obviously, from just those timestamps, they would know that that's an incorrect time for them. So I don't know why they even bothered giving us anything to begin with if they were just going to be wrong to begin with. I find it really, 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 really sad. I don't like him either. I really don't like him either. But credit goes where credit goes because that's only fair. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull this up. And again, it's just good to watch as like a reminder of how normal that night was for them. Why didn't I pay attention to the fact that all of my stuff was all crazy before we did this? And you know what else too? It does give a better perspective of Jack. Because when the girls get in the truck and the way that the Grub truck footage shows, like it sort of looks like he's like speeding off a little bit. But whenever you're watching this one, like from across the street, you can see the girls getting into the car. He like passes by. You can see his arm sort of come up. I don't know if he's flipping them off or waving at them. It looks like he's waving, but it's far away. I've heard people say he's flipping them off. I don't freaking know. But he doesn't look upset and he's not running off either. He's just sort of just like walking past them. So it's going to get a different angle. It's going to get a different angle. Now, it's just little segments. It's just little bitty segments. This portion is just like them at the bar, like within a few minutes before they end up walking out. And they're going to walk out at 1:37. Now, remember, they've been telling us for years now that the whole plan was the girls were hungry and they wanted to go to the Grub truck, and that's not true. They originally left the Corner Club with Jack Showalter because they wanted to go to John's Alley, which is like another bar. We went through and looked at the maps of all that stuff in another video, so we're not going to go over that here in this one. But again, if you go over to Gray Hughes' channel to watch the full thing, then you're going to see the maps that he pulls up to. I don't know. Do you know where that one was? I don't remember what the timestamps looked like on this one. I was just trying to get the footage because it's the girls. And who knows who's off for who's what, or what version it even is from, or where it honestly even came from. This is just what's out there. But everything looked fine on the ones that I saw. Yeah, the no feet thing doesn't bother me because of the angle. He got it from somewhere. It's probably not his. I'd like to know where it originally came from. The no shadows under the truck doesn't really matter to me because there's a curb right there. So what you're probably seeing is the curb, and you're not seeing where the people are actually standing because of the way that the bottom of the truck meets the top of the curb. So I don't know. That thing looks fine to me. Yeah, that's the sad part. Like, it just looks like they're normal. They're just trying to go and, like, have a normal night. But there's nothing in this that's, like, incriminating either, whether it comes to Jackass or, like, anybody else. So for them to be manipulated in any way, like, what's the story? What would be the purpose for the manipulation? They don't say anything. They don't show anything. There's nothing bad in them. There's nothing being said bad in them. You don't see nothing creepy in the background. You don't see anybody doing anything crazy. Like, there'd be no reason. Okay, Christy Nevada had it. Okay, she usually always gets them like straight from there with FOIAs. There's no reason to manipulate these because there's nothing to see. The stuff when it comes to 1112, understandably, I'd be like, yeah, I don't really trust this, especially if you're charging people so much for redactions. Like, what are you redacting? If there's nothing happening that's got anything to do with the case, then what are we spending so much money on redactions for? That doesn't make any sense to me. But I don't feel like there's anything in these that would constitute needing any sort of manipulation. And I know people are going to see whatever they want to see and go with it, but that's just my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. Well, I'll go through the reports. See what I'm saying? He's always pushing some stupid shit. He's always pushing some stupid, crazy shit. And there's people that always believes it just because some idiot with a microphone says it. That's the kind of shit that makes me so mad. Ugh. Okay. Well, whatever. We're going to go and watch this. Again, these kind of videos are important because it shows they're just talking to each other. They're just two girls trying to have some fun. They're just two girls walking home and getting some freaking food and being tipsy. Maddie is real tipsy. Maddie's real tipsy. So this is, I think the timestamp in the video for his is like 1:30 something, but the timestamp that they're starting to walk out is going to be 1:37. And there's no sound for the majority of this. You have the Adam one where there's some sound. And I think there's like one other piece with sound. See, they're just hanging out. Looks like Maddie's trying to order something else. Does she have 2 drinks? We did see their receipts. We have seen reports on their purchases from that night. Looks like Kaylee's on her phone. Now, I will say I do find it interesting that Jack, when he's talking to the police, he makes it real, like, he wants them to know for sure that he doesn't really know Kaylee whatsoever. It is only a friend of Maddie. But the whole time they're walking, he's walking like up front with Kaylee instead of with Maddie. That's just an observation, not to say that it means anything. It's just something that I observed. Okay, so this is 1:37 when they're walking out of here. They're right there with the circle. That's Gray Hughes' circle that he put up there. And there's Jack right there with the hoodie. See him right here. I don't know why we're blocking Jack's face. We know who the frick Jack is. Like, come on. There's Kaylee grabbing Maddie like, girl, let's go. There they go out the door. There goes Jack. Now here comes this part.
What did you say to Adam? I told Adam everything.
That was at 1:38. Now they're going to be passing in front of, this place is in front of Farmers Insurance and in front of Cafe Arista, all within the 1:40-ish minute frame. This is all within the 1:40 minute. See, this says 11:13:22, but it says 1:40. Yeah, that's the right time for that one. So now there's, okay, this is the only piece that I found interesting, honestly, is that we have another car that looks really similar. And I say really similar because it's white and because it has this angle in the window. Let me turn this right here off for a second. See how it has this angle? But this angle is really prominent like everywhere, I noticed, because even in Linda Lane, when you look at Linda Lane under the garage where it has like the cars parked, there's a car parked under there that looks like it could be like a silverish or something, like I can't remember the exact color of it, but it has that same angle in the window. And then the car that they have showing like in the pictures and like the Hyundai Elantras and stuff, they all have this window with this slit in it. So this is really the only thing that I found pretty interesting. But also, whenever we hear how many of these cars are in the area, it kind of is like, you probably are going to see something similar. It is just interesting. It's just interesting. Now, I don't have the Grub truck footage in here of whenever you see them actually come up on the curb and then go towards the car, because we've watched that way too freaking much. It's insane. Now, at 1:45, I just paused it. At 1:45 is when Kaylee messages Eric. So it's not until they've already gotten to the Grub truck and like been standing there for at least 4 minutes, because they pull up on there at like 1:41-ish, that they then message him, that she messages him about coming to pick them up. He gets there in 4 minutes. So Home Dude must have been just like hanging around that little downtown area. But we also need to remember what the report said, that he was on the clock driving for Uber until 1:15, and then he went like dark on the app, and then I guess hung around there for after hour drives because it was Saturday night and he probably just knew people were going to be needing a ride home. But he got to them at 1:49, and then he sat there parked in front of the Grub truck on the edge of the street for looks to be 3 minutes, because they leave at 1:52. It's really blurry. It's really crappy. It's from across the street. There's Maddie right there. There's Kaylee. You can barely see her because the windows are so translucent, but then you see she's in white. So it's really hard to see her. But she's right there looking like a little ghosty crossing the screen, ironically. It's really crazy that you can barely make her out. There's Jack right here. Now, that was me putting little pieces together because Gray had something else put in there, and I had to like take pieces out of stuff. There's no other nefarious reason other than that. You can go check his video to see the reason why that little piece does that. It's me that did that edit. But you see Jack right here. Here's Jack, and then he's walking. He just like, his arm kind of goes up, and he's not running off. He's like totally walking at a normal freaking speed. So I don't know why people were making like a big deal about the way that he took off, because that's a normal ass walk. Let's play that one more time. There's Jack. Actually, let's play it from the girls. So there's Maddie. There's Kaylee. They get in. Maddie gets in the back. Kaylee, you can see her go a little bit in front of Maddie, so she gets in to the front. And there's Jack. He's just walking normal ass speed. No problem. Not running off. Nothing crazy like that. Just walking. Just walking. I'm gonna let the rest of this little piece.
You have pulled video seeing the Uber driver dropping them off.
Yes.
You've checked your phone records. You know the
Yes.
timestamps, what
Yes.
time they got home.
Yeah. Kaylee and Maddie were picked up from their home at 1122 King around 10:15. It's about a 5-minute drive down. So they arrived to Corner Club around 10:20, which is different than what was released at 10. We know that Kaylee called for an Uber at 1:45. He arrived at 1:49, got in the car around 1:50. It's about a 5-6 minute drive. They arrived home at 1:56.
Okay. Now that car is silver. I mentioned this in my live yesterday. It says it in all the reports. It's silver. I know it looks dark. All right. There's no light over the car, so it's already losing light. Also, I had a Ford hatchback, like a Ford, not a Ford, Honda. I had a Honda. I don't even know what I've had. I had a Honda Fit hatchback that was super dark gray, like gunpowder gray looking. But on the registration, ever since it was created, it said that it was a silver vehicle, and it was not freaking silver. It was a dark gunpowderish gray. We know that this is a Toyota Prius by looking at it, and I know that it looks crazy because it's darker, but that's just a grayish silver car in the dark and a shitty camera. That's just it. That's what it looks like to me. I don't have any reason to believe that that's not true. That's what it looks like. Shitty camera in the dark. I've had a car marked silver. That definitely was not silver. So it just is what it is there. But what was important with this is because the document shows the misconception that we've been trying to figure out. I mean, so we've sort of figured it out already, but just to like reiterate this issue here. In the very beginning, there was a lot of rumors that Eric Gower didn't come forward. There was a lot of stuff about how he didn't come forward for like 10 days. How could he have not known? He acted like he didn't know, blah, 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 blah. And all of that seems to have been like birthed from nothing, because that's not the truth. The truth is that it, obviously, from going over everything with Molly, she's the one who had to be tracked down. She's the one who wasn't honest about where she was. She's the one who didn't come forward. She's the one who was getting text messages and phone calls from police in Washington trying to track her down for multiple days, and kept giving all kinds of excuses about a bad alignment and messed up tires and all kinds of other boo-boo for not calling them back. Okay, it was Molly. According to the reports, Eric actually contacted the Moscow Police Department the morning of the 14th. So the very next day. So yeah, he's a piece of poop, and he tries to like be a weirdo with these girls and his little airplane bottles of liquor. And he seems to be, you know, like a really shitty father and husband, you know, from the way that he talks about his wife and child, and the way that he apparently puts a persona out to these college girls who put the idea out on the reports about how this guy talks about his wife and kids being gone, how happy he is, and how everything sucks. Okay, Eric sucks. But he came forward. Nope. We are waiting to get the 230 to 3. No, that's a lie. 225 to 330 1112 camera from MPD. But it's going to be the same little T cross section that we've seen, and not the house. And I really need Brett Payne to explain himself, because we've listened to the interview with Molly, and it's very clear that the report at least is honest in she didn't see shit. That's about as far as that goes. But he is putting in the report, and I would love to read Danny Vargas's. I don't think I saw it unless I missed it. But I would love for him to explain why he puts in there that SV1 pulls in behind her in the parking lot area. That's the verbiage he uses in his report when it comes to her interview. And we have to remember that this was 10 days after the incident, and by then they've obtained a lot of camera footage. I think I saw somebody say that they put in a request for dash cam belonging to Molly, just in case that's where it was, and they were told that that doesn't exist. I don't remember where I saw that. If anybody else saw that and knows where that was from, please let me know, because I know I saw that like either yesterday or day before. And see, that's what I want to know, because that 156 timeline came from the freaking Goncalveses. But so did the damn door being stuck, and Hunter Johnson being called over to manhandle the door, and Ethan's body being behind the door, making it unable to be open. That came from the Goncalveses too. You know? So I really wish that they would come out and be honest, because Steve sent Brat Norton that 156 screenshot, and they've admitted they've had leaked footage, and they've admitted they've had ring footage from day one. So if they really do have this section of this, and the private investigator got to it before the cops did, where is it? And why is it being hidden? Why do we not have that? Now, again, I did email the FOIA office a couple of days ago. I read you guys that email, and I haven't gotten a response back yet, but I gave her the report that says that the guy got footage from 12:55 a.m., meaning right after midnight on 11/13, and it stops on like the 17th of November. I don't remember the time, but it goes for a few days, and that's not what's in there. And I just don't understand knowing that 12:55 to 2:25, because again, the 2:25 is when she's telling me the file for the entirety of 11/12 starts. Why would you not have on there anybody coming home, Dylan and Bethany coming home, the girls coming home, anything? Why would you not have that part included in your information that you're keeping as evidence for this case? I don't understand why you would just not have that on there. So the question is why? We know it exists because the family is telling us that they've seen it. I don't understand. I mean, is the family like withholding it from the cops? Because now I'm like, have they even seen it? Or are they just going off of what they're told because the family had the footage and never gave it over? Like, I don't know what to think. Because the Goncalveses are the only ones claiming to have seen this shit. And they're not going to tell us. They're not going to answer the damn question. I just don't know. That's what I don't know. I don't know if they're claiming that they're just like seeing a car, because that's another thing that really like pisses me off about the screenshot that Steve Goncalves did send over to Brat. He could have at least done the decent thing and put the screenshot of the car, like show Eric Gower's Prius in the screenshot actually making that turn. That's the screenshot he should have sent. I don't know why he didn't, because there's no car in the screenshot that he sent. And they're the ones who have that answer. So I want to know, like, do you see, like, when especially if it's 12:55, like, I know that the party that Ethan and his brother were at, like, ended really early and they ended up at Sigma Chi. But I also would like to know, like, if it's 12:55, like, how much back and forth is there too, considering what we've heard from Jeff Kernodle about Xana apparently being home and not feeling good now. Since the hearing, we've added and not feeling well to his horrible guilt that he obviously holds on himself still for not going over there that night. That matters. Like, I want to see some more timeline here, because we still have nothing for Xana anything getting home at all. And honestly, the more that we've like sort of learned about Molly's timeline, it's really even more difficult to try to figure out what's really going on in way of when this was actually ordered, because they're not giving us a time that it was ordered. They've only given us the picture or the receipt from Ethan's account showing that it was dropped off and like scanned as delivered at 3:59. But knowing how slow her ass is, there's no telling when this was ordered. You have to remember, she sat there in the interview and told them Jack in the Box thought she wasn't coming back, so they had to end up making the food because they threw it away because she took so long. And she's making it sound as if there was some sort of double order that took her to that area, and then she went back and there was another double order and it took her back, but she took so long they threw it away and had to redo it. So how long in between it being created and it getting there? Considering how slow she was. Like, you can't even figure out like the timeline for that even now. Like, it just makes even less sense. So this is something else, and I'm going to do a video about this eventually, because I want to put like all of my everything that she has said and like all the things together. But do you guys remember in Molly's interview? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember in Molly's interview her claiming she had a friend of hers parked at the Jack in the Box parking lot waiting for her that night. Because I have a theory on who that person, not who that person is, but what that person might be doing and what this whole thing could be. Because remember, okay, good. You remember she said all of the orders were from Jack in the Box? What if there is like a particular meal that gets ordered and it means like a certain substance? Or what if the order is just some sort of cover for the substance, and the reason why it's Jack in the Box is because the dealer's in the parking lot and Molly's job is to be the person who delivers, but the cover is the DoorDash? Like, I know that a lot of people have already sort of like thought that through, but now that she's actually admitting somebody was sitting in the parking lot at Jack in the Box, I'm like, that sounds like a whole freaking operation, bro. It sounds like a whole freaking operation. No, she didn't have anybody with her when she was delivering at King Road that night. She said she had her husband on the phone with her during the first time that she passed through that way with those 2 big orders and then another guy at another apartment complex. But then when she went back and had to go back the second time, she said no. But ever since, like, I know people have like really been questioning that, but ever since she said that, I'm like, man, everything was from Jack in the Box. Everything in that area. Why would somebody need to be sitting and waiting for you in the Jack in the Box parking lot, but you're driving around by yourself? That doesn't make any freaking sense. That makes no freaking sense. Yeah, she said the first guy had like a really weird name and it was a big order. But that's just what that's where my mind has gone with it. I wrote it down somewhere. I think on this stuff. Because I was thinking it earlier, like putting stuff together. Yeah, right here. I wrote it down. It's the pink highlighter. I wrote that down earlier. I was like, what if that person is the one, like, whoever wants substances tells this person this is what they want, and they know that the protocol is to put in an order. And maybe the only thing that changes, like, to make it not so freaking noticeable is the restaurant. Because what the frick else? Why the frick else does somebody need to be waiting for you in the Jack in the Box parking lot? There's no, if someone's worried about your safety, they're not waiting for you like at a restaurant in a parking lot. They're like riding with you. And if they're not riding with you, then what the frick are they in the parking lot for? That just seems like that seems like that. I'm not sure who Janelle is. But it would also, you know why else this would make sense? This would also make sense because Dylan added a contact to her phone at 3:51. And if Molly was there to actually deliver something else besides that, like there, and it was somebody else who actually ordered it to get delivered, and Dylan wanted to get the information so that she could have her connect information too, that would also, that timeline of 3:51. The cousin to who? Molly? Who is Janelle, though? Oh, okay, so Molly's cousin. Y'all are saying a cousin, but you're not telling me to who. Janelle is a cousin. Is it Molly's cousin? Yes, Molly. Okay, I can look into that now that I know what you're talking about. Okay. I know that there's, then answer me this question. Is Janelle the one who told Daniel the lie about her and Kohberger locking eyeballs and all this other crazy shit? Is that who told Daniel all that crazy stuff? You thought you dreamt about Janelle. I don't know. I'm live, baby. You got to get out. Well, I know. I'm about to cook. One. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to look that up. She was the one driving the truck when running from the cops. That's insane, bro. Okay. Oh, my God. Yeah, that just seems like a whole operation to me, bro. It really does. It does seem like a whole operation. It seems like they order a certain thing. The person waits at the restaurant. There's a dasher that picks up the order. And they're probably sharing the account. Because that's also another thing. Like, being in that area, you can really orchestrate this if you really freaking wanted to. By just paying attention. That's probably why she also double dashes to make sure that she gets maybe like a substance run order and like a regular order to sort of like hide it. Like, there's so many different ways. Like, look at the story that we were told from somebody who apparently contacted Steve Goncalves. I don't know how true this is, but the deviousness behind it is so like on par with this sort of like theory here. Because what did he say? That he would listen to dispatch whenever there was like DV situations. And if the husband got dragged away, then he would break into the house. Like, that's how he knew that he could get on and get up on somebody and like take their shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you have to think about with this kind of stuff. And sometimes you got to think like a loser. Extra sauces. Yeah. See, and that's why I asked them specifically for whatever Brett Payne is talking about. I want that camera footage. I sent her the damn supplemental report. I said, he was your lead investigator. I'm just going off of what he's telling me. And her exact answer to me was, you must be talking about the 11-12 footage. No, I'm not, because that's not 11-22 in that camera footage. We've seen a dashing receipt, like a DoorDash receipt from Ethan's account. And the information for who it is blacked out. But that's just what everyone's basically been told at this point. Plus, she's on the witness list. Jack in the Box parking footage. I don't know if they got it. I'll have to go back and look at the list. That's a good point. I'm going to look at the list and see if they ever did that. I know that, what's his face went over there. And you know what? This actually isn't too far off from what we were told. Because remember, we were told like 2 different rumors about who the dasher could be. And one of them was like a fat dude who was always eating everybody's food and getting in trouble. And the other one was like somebody with long brown hair. Well, it was assumed, I guess, that it was like a pretty young younger person with long brown hair, because everyone instantly went to Emma Bailey But if you look at Molly, I mean, she's got like lighter brown hair, but she's got longer hair. So that part at least was like sort of accurate, I guess. Thanks for the 5, Christian. What happened to the students filming the street or the parking lot? That's actually really interesting too. It just is like disappeared. I don't remember if they came out and had to like say that it wasn't true. But I remember that it was out there and they said they had a camera and that it caught somebody running past it. And then it was just like that post was deleted. Debunked. That's what I thought. Yeah, it was like they came out and was like, no. But yeah, I was there for like a day or so and then it got erased. So I don't know. I'm going to look at the footages that they have listed that they have and see if any of them are Jack in the Box, because I just don't remember off the top of my head. And then I'm going to see. But yeah, that's just like where I went with it, because it just seems like crazy. And then like the contact for Dylan, like, oh, you can order DoorDash and get whatever you want brought to your house and it doesn't look like a drug deal. It looks like you're just a fat ass in the middle of the night. Hell yeah. Hook me up with that phone number, homeboy. Come on now. Yes, hence the freaking lies. Hence the lies, bro. That's why we're going to go over the whole interview. Like I have it, the way that I do things with the editing and the zooming in and the everything, it's ready to go. She says in the very beginning of this shit ass interview that she is so highly rated that she's doing this hourly testing job thing with DoorDash. And then at the end is where she admits that the double dashing takes longer. So her rating is like super low and she has like low stars. And I'm like, well, which is it? Which is it, bro? Do you have such high ratings that DoorDash is using you as a guinea pig, or do you suck? Which one? I just don't understand that. That's her last name? Okay. Like, I'm not going to just like throw the name everywhere yet because I don't have like anything to put on anything. But I will look into it and talk about it in the way that we can. It just seems like there'd be no other reason for somebody to be sitting up in a damn parking lot waiting on a dasher to show up at 5 different times a night. Unless you're there for a reason. 20 months. Oh my gosh, that's so long, Carrie. That's such a long time. Oh my gosh, 10 memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Over 2 years. Jackie's at OG. Yeah, Jackie's been here for a super long time. Thank you for the $20 super sticker. Oh my God, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I knew this one wasn't going to be very long, guys. I just wanted to show you the pieces that we just put together and then just kind of the thoughts that I was having. Again, I am going in. I've gone in and gone through, I don't know how many more times I'm going to say freaking gone, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I have gone in and redone the information for the knife sheath just to make it easier to go back over. And I found where they have, like, again, the data that shows the amounts of DNA. It shows how much of the preservative they added to it. It shows what the ending result was after they did things to it. And then it shows what they needed to amplify it to. And then I know that it's ChatGPT and it's ChatGPT. But the way that ChatGPT lays out why and like the measurements and how this is trace DNA, this is nothingness DNA. It's like saying it's barely above even recognizable the amounts of DNA being found here. So for the author dude to be like, again, oh my God, there was so much DNA. Yeah, because they amplified it 150 times in order for you to be able to do your job. But it was not a bunch of DNA. It was nothingness, absolute freaking nothingness. So I want to go back through there and do it in the very easy to follow way, because I went in through all the documents and got it down to literally just 2 pages of information. And hand notes are easier for me, guys. I know a lot of people get on like Word and do presentations and stuff. I learn and retain information better if I am reading it with my eyeballs as I am writing it with my hand. That's just how my brain works. So I'll probably take a picture of those, put them on there, but I also have like the diagram, the charts, the amounts, what it means, what it actually means whenever they do the multiplication, if for this certain thing, how many pass-throughs, what it does, because every single time they do a certain process, it doubles the DNA every single time. And there's a lot. They did a lot to it to get there. So that's what I've always said. Like, how can we haven't been able to do all these extra things if it's not this trace DNA thing? But then to also know that it was such trace DNA, that it was such minuscule amounts of DNA, like we've actually been told from the beginning, that everything was consumed. Most of these don't even have DNA extracts to go back to because they're all just gone. And that's extremely important because what? That means there's all these unknown DNAs that they don't even know who they belong to, that they couldn't test any further. On top of the ones that they could test further. There's a lot of unanswered questions here, and it's really just sad. It's really super sad. I just don't understand. But that's it for this one. That is it for this one. Not every live has to be super long, and I need to learn that because we'll probably go live more often if I know that I can get this done in under an hour for stuff that's just like short stuff like this. I'd rather go live than do videos for the most part because the editing takes a lot of time, and I'd rather just have conversations with you guys about stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you so much for jumping in here last minute with me for now and watching this with me. Like I said, it's just always good to see the girls having fun and just being in the moment and not knowing that everything was about to just be over. It's just good to know that they really had a good time together. It is. It's kind of comforting. It makes it more sad because you know how many more times that could have happened. But it's comforting at the exact same time. Thank you for everyone who joined. Thank you for the super stickers and the gifted memberships and the super chats. I will be back in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and roll this one out. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. All right, you guys. See y'all.